already know how much it was. You just cut the plot, I guess.
Don't forget, some things mustn't be forgotten. The shadow hunting me. I must hurry. My name is Daniel. I live in London at Mayfair. What have I done? This is crazy. Don't forget. Don't forget. I must stop him. Focus. My name is... I am Daniel.
There's way too dark for you guys.
Okay, I say we try and keep up with
Don't mind noise in the back. Oh!
Hi, my name is Thomas Grip, and I'm one of the co-founders of Frictional Games. I worked with engine code, gameplay code, design, and many other things for Amnesia. In my commentaries, I will mainly... Hi, my name is Thomas Grip, and I'm one of the co-founders of Frictional Games. I worked with engine code, gameplay code, design, and many other things for Amnesia. In my commentaries, I will mainly focus on the design behind the different parts of the game. I hope you'll enjoy them.
Throw. Oh.
The name of this level is Rainy Hall, and it's supposed to be a combination of atmosphere setter and tutorial for the player. We wanted the player to start the game in a slow way so they could settle in and get used to how the game works. Amnesia is not a game with constant action happening all the time, and we wanted to have a constrained map where the player gets used to this. The only thing you need to do is to follow the track and get to the end of the level. Also, following tracks is something that becomes very useful in later levels, so we try to teach players this from the start.
That is not okay by my standard. So time to get further. Okay, let's go down this one. Nope. There we go. Just tender. Yes, I did this already. I could break that open, but I don't want to right now. More tinder. We want to save stuff. What? Okay. I'm ready to push anything away. Go. It's okay. I don't think we're gonna go. Not going in there. Okay, we managed to walk past the door. Okay. Fell to the kitchen floor. Tears beginning to roll up in his eyes. Received a kick to his stomach. Hazel remained. Look at that, cinnamon. Thomas.
This is one of the first levels that we created for the game, and it was initially part of the archives level, which we will reach in a bit. Amnesia started out with a pretty different design, and when we redesigned it, the maps did not fit. This caused us to split them up and scatter them out. So in the first design, after this corridor, the archives level was supposed to follow, and the room lying there now was built much later. In fact, the first designs did not have Daniel waking up with an amnesia at all, and it was actually added later on. In the first story draft, Daniel still had hidden memories, but he was unaware of this at the start of the story. However, as we redesigned things, we found a waking up with amnesia thingy, although a bit cliché, much more fitting.
There's nothing to hurt. Whoa! Need a light with torch. Alright.
Programmer, level scripter at times, and perhaps the main reason why the rest of the core team at Fictional Games is pretty much forced to speak English at our internal meeting. as I am the only non-Swede here. Now, what a Spaniard is doing with a bunch of Swedish guys is a whole different story we won't be discussing today. By the way, I will be talking mostly about tools and scripting. Hope you like it. The editors themselves went through a lot of design changes during the development. Not that many in visual appeal as in internal stuff, like data structures and handling. This happened mostly because at the beginning we only knew the basic stuff that needed to be in them, and as they grew in features and functionality, they started to kind of fall apart, mostly due to my big lack of previous experience in projects like this. Right now, aloud, what the hell still sounds in my head when I look at some parts of the code, but I am still proud of them. They can also get a bit buggy at times, but hopefully this won't happen again in the future, and I already got some nice ideas for the next iteration of the tools.
We need to turn up the sensitivity here. Sensitivity is extremely low. Oh boy. It's way better.
"19th of August, 1839. I wish I could ask how much you remember. I don't know if there will be anything left after I consume this drink. Don't be afraid, Daniel. I can't tell you why, but know this. I choose to forget. Try to find comfort and strength in that fact. There is a purpose. You are my final effort to put things right. God willing, the name Alexander of Brandenburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible. Go to the inner sanctum, find Alexander, and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours young and strong. He will be no match for you. One last thing. A shadow is following you. It's a living nightmare, breaking down reality. I have tried everything, and there is no way to fight back. You need to escape it as long as you can. Redeem us both, Daniel. Descend into the darkness where Alexander waits and murder him. Your former self, Daniel."
Okay. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Why don't we just pick that up and take it with? That's right, because it makes the game too easy.
Hello everyone, my name is Mikael, and I'm the writer for Amnesia: The Dark Descent. I think we can all feel the story kick-starting as we finish the letter from Daniel. The game itself is just filled with confusion, and I think we're really doing the player a service keeping it simple in the beginning. Basically try to take your revenge on Alexander, that is the premise of the game. You don't really need to dive any deeper than that, but hoping that the player will care about the story, they have the entire game in front of them to decide if they think killing Alexander is justified or not.
Oh. Fragmented of rose lingered in his mouth. Tish kissed the lights, he thought to just dawns to consolate. I don't know. Okay. This is introduction.
Hello, my name is Mark Nikander. I'm a 3D artist and level creator at Fictional Games. I started out as an helper during Penumbra Overture, and I was finally hired as a full-time artist in the later part of Penumbra Black Plague.
Speaking. Come, bring the lamp. You've been to the refinery, have you not?
I don't believe I have. Is it connected to the... what did you call it?
The inner sanctum. My most precious chamber, Daniel. And it lies well beyond the refinery. In fact, it lies beneath the very stone of Brennenburg.
The entrance hall was first shown in our first gameplay trailer, and while the layout hasn't changed much, the details certainly have. We build our levels from sets of pieces, in this case, the custom-based set. While the carefully planned set pieces made level building very easy, the levels became very similar and we had to make special pieces to the levels. Now, 1.5 years later, the special pieces make up about half of the pieces in the custom-based set, and we made changes to incorporate these objects into the earlier levels. An example of this can be seen if you can...
Alright, can we turn those off? Does that turn it off? There it is. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna turn it off. Okay, so let's go this way first. This is just open. Oh yes. Take me chair. This chair will be my loading screen. Sit. So can we get us stuck up on top of this chair? If you come back then you'd be making that now. Only one of you can be that way. Okay, my companion. Okay. The power of Christ compels you. To all my attacks. It caught the chair. It's not okay. 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 I'm gonna get out of here, I guess. I'm gonna go to the staircase. Oh! Oh my god, why did that scare me so much? Okay. All collapsed in. There's something over here, we can check it out. The slime shut behind him and I knew he would never again see the tail of big of a square. Another of those sort of London seemed appropriate somehow. Mm.
16th of May, 1839. The unflinching African sun has continued to plague our expedition, making it impossible to dig until dusk. How Professor Herbert managed to find the location in these vast plains of nothingness remains a mystery to me. When I asked him about the tomb again, he told me about the legend of Tin Hanan, the mother of us all. An interesting story in its own right, but I can't help feeling there's more. Later that evening, we uncovered a passage beneath the dunes leading to a sand-covered stone structure. The professor was confident it was the tomb we sought and ordered the others to clear the way late into the dark, cold night. Tomorrow, I shall lead the men into the ancient structure, hoping to reach the burial chamber. No matter what the professor is keeping from me, the dig should yield something interesting to take back to London and the British Museum.
Okay. So nothing there. chest. Stefana. I forgot Stefana. Alright. Since you protected PewDiePie so well, maybe you'll protect me. Stefana. Come on. You guys wonder why I asked him now? It's because I cannot hear all these ears.
Oh no. You gotta come over by me for a moment.
Okay.
"17th of May, 1839. My hands tremble as I write. I feel a need to document my tribulation, for I fear that my memory will fail me if I linger. Today, I took some men and ventured into the dark, ancient passage we uncovered. Our torches burned faintly in the murky air as we slowly made our way underground. The men were superstitious and fearful. They argued loudly, and I felt their strange language getting to me. I mustered my strength and yelled at them to continue down the slopes and broken steps. The crudely carved passage confused me. It looked much older than the 4th century structure we had expected. The twisting path emerged into a great antechamber. The walls were lined with statues unlike any I'd ever seen. Despite their unearthly quality, I felt a strange familiarity toward them, which haunts me still. At the far end of the chamber, a great slab of stone, I was trapped.
Close window lights. Sources because one of my ears are out. My headset for months it's broke because I broke it like a dumbass. Oh! That's not okay. Fuck off, Shadow. What? Alright, either tinderbox. Oh, is this okay? local history is locked. The fuck? Oh. That's no bueno. Okay, I need to refill the lantern, so... Oh, okay.
Much of the castle is old and hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about the wards. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it.
I can't put the same thing down there. Okay, East Wing and Western Hall. So that's where we want things to get work done, okay. So... not happy that I am here. Okay. Oh, it's nope. Fuck that.
17th May, 1839. After pounding the unforgiving stone wall for what seemed like an eternity, I realized it was hopeless. I was trapped. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, trying to focus. That's when I saw a faint blue shimmer. My weakened body was heavy to carry, but I managed to push myself toward the enchanting light. It was waiting for me. Enclosed in dark nothingness, I felt myself drawn to the mystic light. I reached out, closing it in my hands. The faint glow escaped my fingers and began to spark brightly and spirit me away, unlocking alien memories of spiraling towers, endless deserts, and impossible geometry. The next thing I can remember is the grating sound of stone being lifted, the voices of the Arabs pulling me to safety, and grasped firmly in my hands was the broken pieces of a most peculiar relic.
Memories. Must find a new way out of this area. The door leading to the local history room is locked. Is there another entrance? It says I'm... Oh, shit. Okay. Can I pick you up?
You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
Okay, there's some sort of secret door mechanism in the local history room. Yes, I noticed. gonna have to light all the lights on here so that we can do this. Okay. Certain bricks. Okay then. That wasn't okay. That legit just fucking me. As these fools have endangered my research long enough. God damn it. God, my phone is pissing me off. No, I don't need bombs, and I don't need to I don't need to constantly use timber. Okay. Regarding it's local folklore. We actually need to read local folklore. Another region rich with lore is Ostad, deep within the East Persian woods. For centuries there have been stories surrounding the hamlet, its neighbor, Castle Brandenburg. The quiet forest-clad mountains, dressed with scattered lakes, picturesque as can be. I don't know how to pronounce that word there, don't mind me. The area is haunted by the dark. As any local, you hear proof of widespread superstition. All travelers should indulge themselves in such conversations, since it will certainly serve as exciting entertainment. All of them have their own twists on the tales, but there are some muffets that keep appearing. Story reaches only by time 30 years more. Let's read a little bit. Oh, you guys have time? Pause now, actually. I'm gonna read it in my head. You wanna read? Pause. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. We're gonna end it at 30 minutes of gameplay, guys. Sorry about
I
that.
dropped them.
Right, I'm gonna be back on my... Okay, copyright music in the background, can't have that. But I'm gonna end here. I know I'm extremely quiet because there's a lot of shit going on around me. I'm gonna leave it because of this, just because I want to leave it at a 30-minute gameplay, what Amnesia is and what it could be on the channel. If you guys like the idea, comment down below and shit like that. We're gonna exit. See y'all later.